So you're a complete newbie to Cricut and you want a little bit of a guide to help you get along your way. Well, this is the guide for you. And make sure that you stick around to the end for some helpful tips and tricks for all beginners. Now, first of all, the Cricut is a cutting or a drawing machine. It is unfortunately not a printer as it doesn't have any ink cartridges in it. But don't let that get you disheartened, as there are many things that you can cut and draw with your Cricut machine. If you are brand new to Cricut and you have not ever used a machine yet, you've maybe just ordered your machine or your machine has just arrived, stop what you're doing, go to cricut.com/setup, the link will be in the description, and download Cricut Design Space. This is the application that you use on your computer, phone, or tablet to connect to the machine. This is a completely free software to use. You do not have to pay for a single thing. However, there is Cricut Access. Now, Cricut Access quite literally just provides you access to the Cricut projects, fonts, images, cut files, so many different options that you can use that Cricut have actually put together on their side so that you don't have to have projects that you upload into Design Space. If you are like me, sometimes it's late in the evening, you want to craft something, but you don't feel like doing all the design work. I go onto Cricut Access, I look under the projects and I find something fun to do and I just click make it, and then all I have to do is put the media onto the mat or load the media straight into the machine, cut it, and then I get to do all of the assembly. So it really takes a lot of the stress out of the crafting, which I really appreciate, and especially for people that are just getting started, I strongly recommend that when you receive your machine, that you take advantage of the free 30 days of Cricut Access. Go through it, make a whole bunch of the projects, use a whole bunch of the images. They have hundreds of thousands of images that you can search from, and they really do have something for pretty much every occasion that you can think of. Now, if you haven't received your machine yet, I definitely recommend getting Cricut Design Space, opening it, familiarizing yourself with it so that you're not crazy overwhelmed when your machine arrives. That is one of the best tips that I can offer you, as of course it's free, you don't have to pay for it, and you're going to be using the software anyway. So why not get yourself a little bit familiar, get yourself a little hyped up for when your machine arrives, and then when your machine arrives, you can literally just click make it. If you've already received your machine, you downloaded Cricut Design Space, and now you need to pair your machine with the software. It has an amazing step-by-step tutorial that'll take you through everything that you need to do, and it'll get you your first thing cut. It really is fantastic as it gives you a little bit of confidence to get started with your first project. Now, when it comes to your first project, I recommend starting small. Don't tackle a crazy big project as your first project that you will get overwhelmed with. Just use the font, type in your name, make sure that you change the size to however you want it to be, click make it, cut it on your machine. Those kinds of small little projects will build your confidence and it'll get you on your way to making crazy big complicated things in no time. Now, of course, software like Cricut Design Space can be really intimidating. There are so many different options, so many different things that you can do, and so many different features. And another piece of advice is ignore everything. Focus on learning one thing at a time. You don't need to know everything about the software when you open it. If there are all these crazy things that you've never seen before, you've never heard of them, you don't know what to do, ignore them. Just focus on one thing that you need for that one particular project, or open up one tool and figure out how to use that. My favorite way of learning things is to watch YouTube videos. Now, of course, if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I do tutorial videos on projects, features in Cricut Design Space. We have live streams every so often, and that's a fantastic way of familiarizing yourself with the software over time. You don't have to know everything right away, and you definitely won't need everything right away. So whatever you do, don't get overwhelmed by Design Space. Just focus on using the text function, and then focus on inserting images, and then focus on inserting shapes. And then you can move on to the slightly funner things like slicing, using the contour feature, using the offset feature, those kinds of things. So really, please try and stop yourself from spinning out of control and getting very worried because there's so many things and you're getting so overwhelmed you don't need to know everything. Speaking of not needing to know everything, the second thing is don't go out and buy everything that you think that you need. That kind of, for me, puts a little bit of pressure on, and You're sitting with all of these things and you don't know what to use them for. If you're brand new to all of this, just focus on getting the essentials. The one thing that I would recommend that you definitely do get right off the bat is the ultimate toolkit. It comes with your weeding tool, it comes with your spatula, it comes with your scraper, it has a paper trimmer, a pair of scissors, it comes with your scoring tool, a pair of tweezers, so many different things that come in that tool set that you will need and that I use all the time. And as you get more confident and as you decide to tackle some more projects, you can then buy extra things for the maker. You can buy the knife blade, the rotary blade, the engraving tip, the scoring tool, the perforation blade. There are 13 different tools that you can buy for this machine that you don't absolutely need right away. If you're anything like me, you'll probably want them all. With the addition of the newest Cricut range, the Cricut Maker 3 to my left and the Explore 3, you can cut without a mat. And you will need a mat to cut with all of the other machines as well. Now these mats come in 4 different colors, and each of the different colors have a different grip strength. This color is the light grip mat. It's best used for paper, cardstock, and those types of lightweight materials. Next up on the Cricut Rainbow, we have the green mat. The green mat is your standard grip mat, most typically used with all of your iron-on materials. You can cut vinyl on this one as it has a little bit of a stronger grip. So if you were to use paper on this one, you would most definitely curl and even break your paper. And then the last of the grip strength mats, we have the strong grip mat. Now the strong grip mat you would use for all of your thicker materials, things like leather. If you want to do engraving on some nice acrylic discs, you would generally use painter's tape to tape it down on this particular mat, and so many other things. And then the last mat that we have in the family is the pink mat, which is the fabric mat. Of course, you would use fabric with it. Rocket science. Now these mats, as you can see, are 12 inches by 12 inches or just over 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters in size. However, they do all come in a 12 by 24 or a 30 centimeter by 60 centimeter size so that you can cut a little bit bigger. If you are cutting smart materials, you can cut significantly larger, up to 3.6 meters using smart vinyl. If you're wanting to know the difference between the Maker and the Maker 3, I will put a link up in the description for a video that you can check out. Now, as I mentioned, these come with a protective sheeting that you will need to peel away to expose the sticky backing. Now what you do is you take your material, you place it on here, and that essentially helps keep it in place so that it doesn't move around and mess up your cut while you're trying to cut something. The carriage itself comes with 2 different clasps, clasp A and clasp B. Clasp A you would typically use for your pens and your scoring tool. Part B is where you would insert all of your blades to cut things. Now, of course, the different machines have different capabilities, and I'm not going to go too much into that, as I want to just make sure that I'm getting you started on the right track. In each of the machine's box comes a blade. The blade housing looks a little bit something like this, and there's a little knob at the top of the blade housing that you can press in to expose the actual blade itself. When this gets blunt, you can just replace it. The Maker range also comes with a quick swap housing blade. Now these blades can be used for multiple fun things like engraving, scoring, perforation, and even fabric cutting, and so many more options. It is very easy to change these blades. Just like the standard cutting blade, you press the top and you can easily swap out the bottom of the blade. That's why it's called the quick swap housing. Now you won't need very many of the quick swap housings. You can pretty much just buy one and then buy the tips for the other options. So if you're looking to save a little bit of money, you can do that. But as one of the tips for me, I wouldn't recommend getting too many of these in the beginning as it can overwhelm you, and we definitely don't want to overwhelm you right in the beginning. So if there is 1 or 2 projects that you have in mind, maybe get 1 or 2 of them and leave the rest for a later stage once you've gotten a little bit more confidence. Now these machines connect to your computer, tablet or cell phone via cable or Bluetooth, and that's probably one of my favorite features. I can take my tablet and my Cricut with me wherever I go, and I don't have to worry about lugging a whole computer around. Now to get on to some of the things that you're going to be cutting. You can cut many different types of things on these machines. If you have the Maker range, it's over 300. If you have the Explore range, it's over 100. But the majority of things that people typically cut are things like paper, vinyl, iron-on, those kinds of things. So when it comes to vinyl, there are two types of vinyl. There's iron-on vinyl and then there's adhesive vinyl. Adhesive vinyl, you're going to need something extra, and that is called transfer tape. As once you've removed the negative from the backing sheet, you're going to need to put your transfer tape on top of that in order to peel it off and stick it onto whatever you want. So you don't have to individually place your letters. You use your transfer tape, which is a low-tack clear sticky plastic, and you can use that to transfer it onto whatever you want to put your adhesive vinyl onto. So with adhesive vinyl, it'll typically come with a branded sheet at the back. That is the part that you stick onto your mat, your sticky mat, and you cut into the top of the vinyl. So you never have to mirror with adhesive vinyl. With iron-on, you put the shiny side down onto the mat and you're cutting into the back of the vinyl, so you need to make sure that you mirror your project. An easy way to test to see which is adhesive and which is sticky vinyl: take the very corner of your project, use your weeding tool to lift it up. If it is sticky on the back of the colorful side, then you know that it's adhesive vinyl. And if it is sticky on the clear side, then you know that it is iron-on vinyl. In order to make use of iron-on vinyl or heat transfer vinyl, you will need to have a heat source. Now, obviously with the name iron-on vinyl, you can use a household iron. However, full disclaimer on my side, I personally don't recommend the use of an iron when it comes to iron-on vinyl, as typically you can't get the correct pressure and the correct heat and heat distribution when it comes to putting your design onto a t-shirt, for example. If you're using this for a pillow, chances are you're probably going to get away with it being just fine. And yes, there are people that have done beautiful projects with an iron. It's definitely possible. However, something you need to keep in mind, you don't want to overpress certain sections of your design. So if you put the iron there and then you move it there, you've got a small strip now that has been pressed twice. So that's just something to keep in mind. And also when it comes to the pressure, you need to be able to see the fabric of the garment through the vinyl. Now this doesn't always apply to your foil vinyls because those typically don't have the same type of effect when it comes to pressing onto a t-shirt. So you may not be able to judge correctly whether you've actually achieved the correct pressure, but if you've given it the same pressure as normal vinyl, then you might be okay. I personally recommend the use of a heat press. It is a very big, bulky, heavy thing, but it is so much easier, and you know for a fact that you're going to get the perfect pressure every time. Cricut does have easy presses, which I cannot wait to get my hands on because they are a lot of fun. And of course you have less issues than that of an iron because it is a big square that you are pressing onto your t-shirt. So the only thing you have to worry about with a Cricut heat press is pressure. And if you give it enough pressure, you are golden. If you're working with adhesive vinyl and paper or cardstock products quite often, is to flip your mat over once you've done cutting and you need to pull the item away from your mat. This typically saves your projects from curling up and essentially destroying whatever it is that you've just cut. So you flip the mat over, it is quite pliable, so don't worry, and you can very gently just lift the parts off the mat and then you won't have any curled products. My next tip for you is always do test cuts. If you have a new material that you're testing out, you're not quite sure which setting to use, take a small little letter, like type in a B or whatever letter you want to type in Cricut Design Space, open up the font panel, choose a random font, click B, make it relatively small, and do a cut on that to make sure that you're getting the cut settings correct. Far too often I see people cutting an entire 12 by 12 of iron-on and then they unload it and they pull it off the mat and it hasn't cut through. So please try and avoid this heartache because it makes me really sad to see that people have wasted so much of their money that could have been avoided just by doing a simple test cut. And lastly, I want to tell you, make mistakes. Because if you've made a mistake like that, if you've used the expensive iron-on or the expensive vinyl and you did an entire cut and you couldn't weed it at all, you'll know to make sure that your cut settings are correct in the future. The more mistakes we make, the more we learn. And that is one of the best ways to learn, is to make many mistakes. So go ahead, make mistakes, get up, dust yourself off, and try again. I pretty much made every mistake under the sun when I was starting. That's why I'm so old and grey now. But I honestly love the journey, and because it's your new journey, I wish you all the best. And remember, I'm always here to help. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I will answer each and every single one of your questions. Unless this video goes like super viral, then maybe I might not have time. And remember to subscribe to my channel for more Cricut videos and tutorials in the future. I will see you in my next video, and remember, be kind to someone today. See you soon!